Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. In our 25th year, giving great information. We're going to give you the lowdown. That's right. That's a little boss gags. You like that one, Harry?
I was going to say that's not very hard.
Paul's spinning a boss gags. I'm going to see Boss in Ann Arbor next week on next Friday.
Okay, there you go.
I'll be there. Good job, Paul. You didn't even know that.
Well, I didn't know that here. I might have went in there. And Lisa Lawson, of course, joining Harry and myself. Harry Glanz over here to my right. And Antonio joins us. Antonio Wells from Anthony John's Luxury Real Estate. Good morning, Antonio.
Good morning.
You're going to give us the lowdown on what's going on in real estate because there's a lot going on. We've been really, really busy. We talk about this September, October every year, Lisa. It just, for some reason, gets really busy. A lot of purchases out there. Antonio, you're in the trenches, so let's go there.
Yeah, I think sometimes everyone waits till the fall, right? They think the kids didn't get back into school, or that routine kind of just happens again. You know, the first week of September, third week of September, all of a sudden people got the itch. And yes, all the time, everyone's like, oh, the fall is slow. I'm like, absolutely not. October, traditionally, for me, has been one of my busiest months ever. And I think I've been doing this 19 years, going on 20.
That's good. Just a few days, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the market it's really picked up. We see that home prices in certain areas, they're not going down. Usually people wait till the wintertime because they think prices are going to go down. Well, it's obvious. People that sell in the fall and winter are serious about selling houses, Antonio. You know that because in bad weather, unless you're serious, you don't want people coming in your house.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's traipsing in the snow.
Also, what's going on, of course, the Fed met this week, and that always touches. So people start hearing about the Fed funds meeting, and there's no doubt mortgage rates have come down, and they've come down already. So congratulations out there. If you were on the fence for a little bit, if you were thinking that the rates were just keeping you out of the marketplace, probably need to speak to a new lender because we've been breaking down the numbers.
Well, but here's
it's
the
still
but
affordable,
that,
Harry.
Here's the but. The but is that everybody hears that the Fed cut the rate.
And they think that's a mortgage rate. It is not.
When in all actuality, what did the rates do, Lisa, this week after the Fed announcement? They went up. So for the second time in a row, it happened in September. See, it's already built in, everybody. Everybody was anticipating that the Fed was going to cut rates for the second time in 2 months. Well, what that means is along the way, between those 30 days from the time they did it the last time to now, well, it's already built in.
Yeah.
So then when it happens again, the ebbs and flows of the market, it's really the inflation rate out there, everybody. And, Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, I apologize, says in the commentary, you have to listen to the commentary. Rates went up because he didn't guarantee another rate cut in December.
Correct.
Exactly.
So you listen to the commentary, and then the market always reacts to that.
Right.
So
it's always been somewhat inverse. Like the mortgage security market is what really drives mortgage interest rates.
Yeah, the 10-year bond really, not to get too nerdy about it.
It's okay to get nerdy. I'm nerdy.
The 10-year bond is really the one to watch. That's really the benchmark bond. But what you're going to see is rates steadily either hold or decline a little bit within the next 30 to 45 days. And then we roll into the new year. And we are anticipating for 2026 rates staying in this kind of range. Would I like to see them go down? Everybody, we always say it. They're not going down to zero. They're not even going to go down to, we'd like to see it go down to 5.5. But we can't guarantee that. But if you could save money, do it now. What are you waiting for?
I've heard that before. Volatility in the marketplace from the Fed, there's no doubt. And then Powell's comments, again, as you mentioned, Harry, basically saying that the Fed cut in December. That's not a foregone conclusion that's going to happen at all. So the odds of market expectation, all of that changes real quick. By the way, the government shut down too, and that plays a huge role in what's going on right now with any market as you're following it. The stocks market's been doing very well, but real estate's been doing fantastic. It will continue to do fantastic, and that's what we do. You're out there, Antonio. You're calling people. They're calling in, showing a lot of homes. It's really still fun and exciting. We're an exciting business because we get to sell that American dream thing, which is maybe owning your own house and then having an opportunity to have some appreciation and a nest egg and generational wealth and all those great things about home ownership. We don't care what the rate is, whether it's 6% or 7%, it's not going to affect you on a daily basis.
Exactly.
Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit? Tell me about some of the buyers you've been working at. Tell me about some of the buyers that you've been out there working with.
Well, the buyers that I've been working with, they've been very selective. People are willing to pay premium for the high-quality upgraded homes. And if you're average home in the market, you might sit a little bit longer than you anticipated.
You see these homes, you're viewing them online, and then you're going to go out there and you're going to view a whole bunch of houses. Is your style like someone you're going to take like a new buyer out to see multiple homes, 5 to 10 homes? How many homes are you looking at with a potential buyer?
I'm on the first showing, on the first outing, about 3 homes, just so they have an idea of what they're looking for in the market and just be able to compare each home to each other.
What are you seeing out there? Is the ones that are in tip-top shape? Because, I'm talking to a guy yesterday, and he's like, hey, I'm waiting for a price cut. I'm like, look, man, you're going to be waiting a long time for that. Yeah. These very moving condition homes, those are still getting multiple bids.
Yeah, exactly. If you see a really nice home, that home is probably going to be gone over the first weekend on the market.
Yeah. I mean, yes, they're homes with price cuts, but I hate to say that it's usually because those homes were a little bit overpriced to begin with. They were hoping that they were going to get top dollar, like this was the rollout at the beginning of the home buying season. And hey, I get it. Get what you can while you can. But when you see a price cut, it doesn't mean that anything necessarily is wrong with the house. There's a lot of people out there who are just kind of shooting for the stars, hoping for the best, and realize their house has been sitting for 3 weeks and no one's made an offer. So all of a sudden you see that $10K price cut, and all of a sudden the activity flurries. You know what I mean? So it's really a price correction, not, it's how I view it.
Right.
When someone's listing a house that's worth $230 and they've got it for $249.9, and everyone's like, but then they drop it to $235 and all of a sudden activity happens, So I think that's a little bit of what we're seeing too. But.
Yeah, we like to say that, it's all situational on that
absolutely.
property, right? It's like baseball, Harvey. It's all situational. The situation dictates that, if you think a ball is going to drop in, you don't leave the bag until you know it's dropped in or go halfway. Guy got caught off last
night. The 7-4 double play to end the game. Yeah, not good. We saw that.
We did see that. But real estate's situational too. And Lisa, right now what we're seeing, it seems to be a trend that people are getting either asking price or close to asking, but the seller is giving some concessions. They're giving some costs back. They're giving closing costs back. They're giving the buyer a little bit of a seller's concession.
Yeah, especially after post-inspection. So sometimes it's from the get-go. Maybe maybe the buyer needs a little bit of help. Maybe they're so close, but they fell in love with the property and they realized the taxes were a little bit more than they anticipated, and now there could be a tiny bit short, and they'd really like to not, eliminate every single penny they have in their savings. So they ask for maybe a 1%, concession. It's definitely less in concession than I've seen in years past.
Yeah.
I can't say that it's like over the top crazy, or they'll have a private home inspection and something small might come of it. And the sellers now will be like, hey, how about if I just give you a $500 credit or $1,000 credit? Because the seller doesn't want to be bothered maybe doing something that isn't maybe necessary to move forward, but something that they would like to have done. And so we see a lot more of that happening right now.
Sellers they're more apt to work with buyers now. They're not being as hard line
as they were last year,
2 years ago. Antonio, what do you think about that?
And that's also because there's not as many offers on the table as there was in the past year. So before, they could say, you can get out of here. I'm going to take this other offer that's the same as yours, and they just have information.
Or I'll just wait another hour and 2 more offers will be here.
Yeah. You can press the button. You have 10 offers on the floor immediately.
So Antonio, a good agent is going to ask the other agent about seller's concessions, right? You're going to work for your buyer, and you're going to negotiate hard. And people don't realize that when you try to sell a house by owner, who's negotiating? There's no it's really hard because if you're selling a house by yourself on your own, you're emotional about it. You, as a realtor, you're going to take all the emotion out of it, and you're going to be able to negotiate harder, correct?
Yes, I'll be that buffer between each buyer and seller.
Yeah, I like that. That's it.
Gotta be the glue.
You'll be the good guy or bad guy, right? You're going to be the good guy. You're going to negotiate. You'll be the bad guy going ahead and say, hey, inspection, I know it was a pass-fail inspection, but you got to do something about this.
Right.
Yeah, and I always let my clients know the worst thing the seller can do is say no.
And what happens? You either have an opportunity to walk away at that point, or you can go back and say, hey, I know you said no, but what if this? You can always present another offer. You can always counter offer. You can always come back. Everything's negotiation, right?
All right. So everybody says that, Harvey. Everybody says, well, I could do this on my own.
No, you can't.
But what they don't realize, and maybe some people can do it on their own, but most people are very emotional about selling their own house because it's their house. And it clouds their judgment when it comes to negotiating properly. And that's why you have a professional go ahead and negotiate.
Well, and sometimes, Harry, not only can you not do it yourself, probably, sometimes you can't even do it with an agent if it's not one of the top agents. And what I've come across is pretty interesting stuff here. So sure enough, during a home inspection just this past week, there's all sorts of issues with the house. There was a roof leak. Now it's caused mold in the attic. So this is all of a sudden we have a signed contract and we're moving forward. Antonio, you hear that there's issues with the house. Well, I'm sort of shaking my head because I thought the listing agent's job was to do a review of the house. And I like that pre-inspection. If you're going to put your house on the market, you know you haven't put money into the sewer line. That's like the number one thing. So let's just go there. These homes are built in the 50s and 60s. We live in Southeast Michigan. Those sewer lines are 60 years old or more, and they're all failing. So not all, but most of them are. So it's just like nowadays, I think that inspection, if you're going to put your house on the marketplace, can solve a lot of problems because you think you've got a done deal, and now we've got all sorts of issues. A lot of renegotiations going on right now. Is that something you're seeing too?
Yes, I always advise my sellers to perform the pre-inspection. That way, at the very worst, at least you know what is going on in your home, so you're not surprised when the inspection comes back and you got mold in the attic or anything inside the basement.
Could you imagine you're selling your house and then you're going to allow someone to come in and take a look at everything that you haven't looked at?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, I haven't been in that room. How are you going to allow strangers?
But then you're going to argue about it when they point it out to you. Then you're going to argue about it. What do you mean there's water in the basement? Well, I haven't been in my basement in 3 weeks.
The sewer line's all backed up and there's a roofing issue.
But as a seller, wouldn't you want to do that? I mean, there's also a liability issue going on.
Of course.
So if you're selling a home and you haven't been in your basement, how were you saying, hey, I'm signing this disclosure that everything is A-OK? How would you know?
Listen,
when's the last time you put your head in the attic?
My problem is I love basements. I'm down in my lower level
Nobody
all day.
loves their basement more than my husband. Shout out if he's listening.
Right. I like it.
In the man cave.
So I like down there. It's a living space, and you got to check it out. You don't know what's going on down
Absolutely.
When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about finished basements, things that add value to the home, Antonio. A lot of that going on. 248-539-9797. We'll be right back. Oh, now the whole album, we're going to play Harry's favorite album.
Harry's
He's such a
grooving.
Boss
We're
Skaggs
going
fan.
back. You got to understand, this is mid to late 70s here. Here
This
we
is
go.
it. All right, sit
like when I was
back and
born.
enjoy and buy a
Love it.
house. Call
Hey.
Capital Mortgage Funding at 1-800-LOW-RATE. We are brought to you by them, of course, and that's where you could find Lisa, myself, Harry, all week long if you need a strong approval letter, and that's really key. Again, had some strange calls. Interesting week for me as I got some calls. Hey, Harvey, check these people out. People making offers on homes who haven't submitted documentation to a lender who gave them a pre-approval letter. This sounds like the old days down there at the big box store down in Detroit. I was like, what do you
Careful about that.
You really, yeah, I know. Watch what you say. Definitely, you want to get a strong approval letter. We're going to talk about that this morning and take your calls. Again, we are powered by CMG Home Loans, NMLS 1820, equal housing lender in all 50 states. Every loan, we offer every single program out.
But
I
Harvey,
can't
what
think of
you're
a
really
program we don't
getting
have.
What you're really getting at is that we can do an approval on the spot if we have all the documents.
Documents are key.
Yeah, that's it. So if you send us your information or we go over it, and obviously we have to verify all the statements that you make at the time you make them to go ahead and get you a pre-approval order. But we could do it instantaneously. It happens all day, every day. It happens with Lisa. It happens with everybody in our office that somebody will send us the necessary documentation and we can bang it out. Yeah, that's a mortgage banker's term. We could bang it out right away and we'll get you that approval letter. As a matter of fact, a realtor that we're dealing with last night, a realtor partner called me up and said, can you get me the pre-approval letter on this transaction? Sure enough, we did it at 6:30 last night, sent it out to him 6:30 on a Halloween Friday night. We're still banging out pre-approval letters. So, but it's all contingent on the documentation.
Yeah.
But we check it out. We run it through our AUS, automatic underwriting system, and we do it right then and there. So we don't wait. So, and Lisa, we sit in the office all the time. The banter back and forth in our office, it gets pretty high octave level because we're into it. We have to be into what we're doing, and we are.
And if you don't do that and take the full application and do that deep dive into a transaction, you'll find out something. You might even find out that their clients, although they have W-2s, haven't filed their taxes, Lisa, in the last couple of years. We'll also find out maybe there's a small income tax lien where they're paying the IRS. And you thought you had their credit report and all their debt, but if you don't ask the questions on the application...
Maybe they're paying $134 a month on an IRS debt.
I found that out after the fact to my good friend out there.
Harry
Hey,
always
Amanda, if
says
you're
it, we'll
listening.
do it instantaneously, but instantaneous doesn't always mean quick. Yes, we're going to do it the time that you call. You call me, and if you have a minute, we're going to go through all of it. I will pull your credit while we're on the phone. You can shoot me a pay stub. You can upload some things while we're on the phone, and it can be done very quickly. But it doesn't mean when we hang up the phone, if you don't know how much you make, you couldn't tell me, oh, I get a bonus every year. Well, what was it last year? I don't know. It was either 3 or 7,000. Or the year before it was 7 or 3. Well, that makes a difference. Is it declining or is it increasing? There's all these little nuances, and you have to at least know the information.
And you broke down my work.
Oh, I just helped you yesterday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Totally. Lisa knows how to break it all down. Income analysis is so key.
It is.
Antonio, a lot of folks out there are self-employed. So they're W-2'd, and then they're also self-employed.
There's a lot of side hustle happening.
Right. And with that side hustle might be going to take away from your income. You got so many write-offs. Now you're taking away for your income. So having someone really break this down is so key. Lisa, like she's saying, Harvey, let's be conservative. Let's take a look at this. So really interesting.
Or
when
I
you're
can't give
dealing
you
with
an
the
answer because I don't
professionals
have
out
all
there.
the pieces. And that's sometimes what it is.
And you're talking to a lot of folks because they're calling in, they're clicking buttons. You buy those. Your company, of course, Anthony John's office spends a lot of money with the .coms out there, whether it be the Zillows, the realtors. You guys are dealing with people who are clicking buttons, and they're not always prepared.
No, they're not. That's why they come to us, and we provide that service for them. Is we connect them with a lender like Lisa, and we get them set on the home search, and we get them ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not educated, then you're really not even comfortable. Like, I need to hear from a lender that, look, these people are ready to go. They can make an offer. We have to be in a position, Antonio, to call you on your listing and say, hey, Joe Smith here, he's ready to close in the next 30 days. Because often that's not the case.
Yeah.
And they might have a piece of paper that says it's the case. So, again, 2 of them this week with people with paper. And, one of them was a local bank. And I'm like, how did you even get this piece of paper that says you're pre-approved, yet you haven't even turned in your documents? Sure enough, Harvey, we're going to call you back when we're ready. We're going to get our ducks in a row.
Yeah. And, the sad part is when your ducks aren't in a row and people get those pieces of paper and they go and they call an agent like Antonio, and Antonio takes them out and shows them properties. And that maybe it's not the first time, third time. Now you've taken them out 5 times. They find something, they make an offer. They're all excited. They put down earnest money. Now you've spent money. They've paid for a private inspection. And then push comes to shove and they turn in their documents then. And all of a sudden you realize they don't qualify. And we've wasted Antonio's time, Antonio's gas. You've wasted your own time. That there's so many moving parts. The reason why we do the quote unquote deep dive is because I don't want any surprises. When I say this person's going to close, unless something catastrophic has happened, like they've lost their job, something major that is kind of, stuff happens. People get sick, they've been in car accidents. We've heard it all. You know what I mean? Like even during the process, I'm like, wait, I got to stop for 8 weeks because I need to rehabilitate. I'm not working right now. Whatever the scenario is, we get it. But that's a lot different. At least there's a reason, right? Not just we're running all over town trying to find something and then come to find out that,
But that's why you ask all those questions
all
up
the
front,
time.
because we don't want it to flip midstream.
Correct.
And it doesn't with us. I don't remember, there are no loans that I can remember, somebody can call up and let me know, that we've given pre-approval letters on that we couldn't close.
Right.
So we just don't do that. It's just not, that's why we get everything prepared up front. To bake a cake, you need the right ingredients. All right. And I'm not a baker.
I am.
Trust me, I'm not. I do nothing around the house. Anybody who knows me will tell you that. But the bottom line is we put all our efforts into making sure that we're prepared up front so we never have a loan flip in midstream.
Yeah, and sometimes that preparation process might be a short process. Maybe people could get it done in a day. But sometimes it's someone makes a call and they're like, hey, we pull all the things and we're like, look, you're almost there. You might need a few months. We might need to get your credit in line. Yeah. You don't have quite enough money for the price point you're looking at. We got to pay off this debt first. Here's ways. It's sometimes it's a process, you know what I mean? In coaching. And some people are like, look, I got to be out of my house, nothing like pressure. But when you say, hey, my lease is up in, 4 weeks, that's barely time to get under contract, realistically. The more time you give yourself to prepare, the better program you're going to get for a loan, the better opportunities, better rates, better everything, because you're giving yourself the time to not only be in the best position. I always say we're trying to maximize your credit score, maximize your debt to income ratio. Yes.
Yeah, if you want a roller coaster ride, you got Cedar Point a couple hours south of us.
Yeah,
but other than that, we don't want you to be on the emotional roller coaster ride.
We want this to be easy.
So easy and exciting and fun. Buying and selling a home, Antonio, you put it out there. So many moving parts is an understatement, but that emotional roller coaster for buyers and sellers, because they're all excited about buying this house. Now we've got an inspection that might bring up some issues. They're trying to renegotiate them. You don't want to buy a house that needs a $12,000 sewer line.
No, you don't.
Or a $7,000 repair on the roof and a $3,000 mold remediation. So it's so key. Talk to me a little bit about that emotional roller coaster. What have you come across lately that you're like, Harvey, I can't believe this happened?
I'll tell you about one of the deals that I actually just closed. They saw a house on Dixie Highway, right on the lake. They had it underpriced, $50,000, and there was a reason for that is because it needed a new sewer line. So you had to invest all that money into the sewer line, but luckily we were able to get it for $50,000 under the market value. Mm-hmm. So in those scenarios, yes, you can do that because you're going to get the money right back once you build up the equity and you make those changes.
Living proof that Antonio will even tell you there that, the sewer line's one of the number one things. But we keep getting the roofs. We keep getting the mold remediation because, again, we talked about this. If you're selling your house, think about this, all the sellers out there that might be listening this morning, have you looked at your roof? If the answer is no, it's time to probably do that pre-inspection. I would spend, Lisa, $350 to have a professional home inspector. Again, if you want to take it a step further and do their sewer line inspection, now you know that the sewer line's been fixed. Plus, you can turn that in, Harry. I can give it to my buyers. I can leave it out like the olden days. Harry, in the olden days, let's go there. In the olden days, in the 90s.
He looks at me and says the olden
days.
Like
in the 90s, no, but sellers would put out their utility bills. This is something I haven't seen in 15 years.
You put out a dossier of everything that happened on the house.
There you go.
Right. Everything, the repairs, everything, the improvements that you did.
People used to put them in a nice little binder or folder.
Right.
Yeah, it's a pride of ownership.
Yeah, but when Antonio hit the nail on the head, he hit the nail on the head. Why was the price $50,000 less? Because there was something wrong with the house. There's always a reason, and you have to investigate that reason. If you're not getting a home inspection, all bets are off.
Yeah.
All right. You also put on here, we got some other things for you, Antonio. Why does your agent matter more than you think? I like that one. Now, you gave us a couple bullet points here. We always know the agent matters, and we think that if even you're brand new in the industry or maybe just say a couple of years into the industry, I think you're as strong as your team. And I know you have a really good background where there's constant training going on, and there's other people in the office that you can bounce things off of.
Yeah, we have mastermind meetings on Monday, so we're always informed on the trends in the market. The agent matters more than you really do think, because from the get-go, I'm calling that listed agent, building a rapport with that listing agent, and that gives you leverage in the negotiations as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
A couple of the agents out there use their trademarks. Do you want to hire one? I might be stealing one from this guy Centuro when he says, "You want to hire a puppy or do you want to hire a bulldog?" Well, when the negotiations come down and when push comes to shove, you might need a larger voice, maybe not louder, larger voice. In other words, somebody who can go in there and dictate, this is what's going on in the house and make it make sense for any sellers. Again, with any buyer seller, it's a win-win situation. Sometimes sellers can't drop the price because they got to use that money to buy the next house. So all of this has to do with that. Get the right agent from the get-go.
Communication.
You'll point all those things out. All right, the music says we're up against our second break here. Give us a call, 248-539-9797. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show when we come back. Welcome back to the show, 8:30. If you're just joining the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show in our 25th year, we take your calls here. If you want to talk about real estate and mortgages, this is the show to call. We've got lots of great information. Again, all the experts say they listen to the show all the time. The great real estate agents have heard it. Antonio, you said you've heard of the show before, and you've been at it for over 5 years now. And
yes, I have.
Yeah, so little changes. And a couple of pointers that you put out there to us, and we said we're going to touch on them was, how important it is to really connect with your real estate agent, because you're going to banter back and forth with them, and you're asking them to negotiate for you. You're asking for their expertise. It's very important to make sure that you're vibing with that buyer or seller.
Yes, it is, because that could be the difference between you getting the house and you losing out on that house. So you got to have the communication to the T. You got to get docs over as soon as they are requested, because, like I said, that could be the difference between winning and losing, and I want my clients to be winners.
So important to have that purchase agreement in the hand of the listing agent on time with the right language, and it matches what his seller's motivation is. And that's the key. If you're making an offer, at least like we see so often, the motivation is like, if I'm saying, here, I'm going to give you 30 days of free occupancy, or find out what that motivation is, and then you can really put your transaction together.
Yeah, and like you just said, communication is key. You don't know what their motivation is unless you're asking the questions. And, sometimes everyone's like, well, it's not my business. Well, yes, it is. It's absolutely your business, because you're asking for something. You're selling your house, right? You want to get top dollar. We have somebody who wants to buy your house, but sometimes the match doesn't quite fit. It could be because the seller hasn't found another home to move out, and go into. And maybe occupancy is everything that they need. And so if you don't know that and you come in, look, I need immediate occupancy, I have to be in, and you're not having that communication, you might not get that purchase agreement. Right? You're going to be like, I'm sorry, I'm going with this person. Yes, it might have been $2,000 less.
But they have better terms.
But they've got better terms, and I can stay there for 60 days. And to me, that's way more important. And push comes to shove, that's what I need. If you aren't having the conversations and you're not asking the questions, you don't know that. So communication is everything.
Everybody used to be so pent up on, I've got
how fast.
Yeah, let's go fast. We got to close. And, Harvey, I'll look at you and say, well, why do they have to close on a Monday or Tuesday? They're not moving out. All right, most people aren't moving till the weekend. They're not moving out on that day. They're not. So occupancy becomes really relevant as to, are they going to move out in a week, a month, or 2 months? So we're finding that people are staying in the houses longer. Okay, they're not moving out at closing or on that day. Now, are keys exchanged on that day? In a lot of cases there are, but most people are staying in the house.
At least 30 days post-closing.
Right?
Yeah.
You're seeing that. Yeah. That's what's really going on in the market. We talk about it. What's really going on in the market? Everybody has this, there's this fantasy out there that things are moving so fast and people want to do that. No. Go ahead, take your time, think it through.
Yeah.
And then go ahead and make the best deal for you, because it's not always about highest and best. It's about flexibility as well.
So important.
Yes, it is. Because not always is the highest offer the best offer. It's also with the occupancy, then the inspection terms, is the multiple things that go into writing the winning offer.
Right.
Yeah, that occupancy is important. Some of the new construction sellers out there, wait a minute, they've already been promised from their builder. Oh boy, I get these calls all the time. Hey, Harvey, their builder just told me they're going to start framing next week. I go, what? They only have 60 days in the house, and if they're just framing, that house isn't going to be done. Well, they said they're going to be in by Christmas time.
No, they're not.
I'm like, look, they better call that pod company real quick and get
right up the extension now.
Right up the extension now.
Make an alternative plan to get out of there. Again, you can only do 60 days, and then our buyers have to get into the house. So there are some things on the mortgage end that when you put in writing that you have to exit the house at a certain time. 248-539-9797. What's happening in today's marketplace? Antonio, that's always one we always touch on. It matters. Again, are we talking locally, regionally? You're right in the thick of things. As you mentioned, you're smack dab in Oakland County.
Yeah.
So things are different from city to city, whether you're making an offer in Berkeley, Birmingham, or is there an offer in Troy? Things are different regarding time frame and other factors that come in. So what's going on in the marketplace today?
Yeah, I focus mostly on the Woolworth corridor. We're seeing the homes that are fully updated. They're still going fast. We're the first weekend, so you do have to be quick when you make your decision. But the homes that are more average right there in the middle, let's say like a 6 or 7, they're staying on the market a little bit longer because people aren't willing to pay that premium price that they are listed at for that home that they do have to go in there and invest, $20,000 into the kitchen and make a roof update, mechanical updates, things like that.
Yeah.
You got to sell. If you're a seller out there and you've sold your house, sort of contingent upon you finding another one, plan to get out because the buyers are making those offers. They want to get into the home.
Yeah.
And before the holidays, take your money. If you've got a great buyer and they're ready to close on the transaction. Typically you have, like you mentioned, Antonio, you got 30 to 60 days. Go find yourself another place or put plan B together, which maybe temporarily rent something until you find the right thing. Or
extended stay hotels. Do what you got to do.
There are things like that. Or move in with a family member
Right.
for a short time. And again, whether you got to put your stuff in storage or one of those pods, okay, do those things. Those are set up for you to be successful. You can sell your house, put the money in your bank account. Now you're more confident and you're actually able, you become a better buyer.
Yeah.
Don't you? I mean, I don't want to work with somebody who hasn't sold their house yet when it's contingent upon them selling their house.
Yeah, you can't be too forward with the wall when it comes to negotiations because you want to be able to negotiate on your buy side of the deal as well. So you kind of want to be the seller that you want to work with on the buy side of things.
Oh, yeah, makes good sense.
We've got a call coming in. Let's go out there to New Boston, down a little bit downriver area. Hey, Mike, what's going on? Looking to sell your house?
Yeah, not necessarily looking real soon to sell, but always looking to see what's out there, what might be a little better situation. But my house is 20 years old. Shingles look decent, but you can definitely tell there's the granulars coming off in the gutters here and there. But just curious to get your guys' thoughts on roof replacements versus the companies that come out and do the roof rejuvenation sprays and stuff. Wondering if you run across that. You guys had talked about houses needing repairs and whatnot and reduce costs. Just curious to get your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. I'll just say first, I'll jump in first and just say, yeah, about 20 years is probably the lifetime of the loan. You get these shingles, and we put a new roof on a couple of years ago on our place. And, they're giving me these, hey, this has a lifetime warranty or 30 or 50 years. There's shingles, and in Michigan, the weather here really beats up a roof. It all depends where you're at. Again, regionally, locally here, our roofs take a beating. And maybe after 20 years or so, a roofing expert, you can have a whole bunch of roofers come out and give you an estimate. They might also tell you, and I think that's the first path I would take. Well, I would call one or two places
here. From a resale
here.
value, I think what he's saying, the rejuvenation is not the same as a new roof. So if you're saying, hey, I want to be able to sell my house and get top dollar, having that rejuvenation treatment is not the same. You're not going to get that, hey, I put a new roof on. We sprayed some stuff to hold. It's like, glue. We had a little, like a temporary situation, you know what I mean? And it might get you a year or two, but it is not the same as a new roof when you're trying to sell.
Long-term plan,
Mike,
get the new roof.
Mike, what's your long-term goal here? And,
right.
And by the way, how long do you plan on staying in the house? Number one. And number two is what's the cost differential between the repair, either the rejuvenation or a new roof? What are you looking at in dollars?
So, you hit the nail on the head. There's the kind of the payback. So say if we would look to move in the next 5 years and you replace the roof this next spring or whatever, I don't know what that payback would be.
Well, the question is that the payback? Well, the payback's going to be greater on a new roof because you're going to be able to command a bigger sales price. Because what's going to happen is somebody's going to go on that roof when they buy it, and they're going to see that okay, they did the rejuvenation as opposed to put a new roof on it. How long is that going to last? So you've got to go ahead. You've got to weigh that time frame that you're going to be in and the cost. And nobody could predict what the market's going to be 5 years from now.
Especially you're protecting yourself, your foundation. If you're talking about making a roof from a 20 to a 25-year roof, when you go to sell that is going to be a huge problem at a 25-year-old roof, and you're going to be taking a hit because some buyer's going to come and be like, I love your place, but your roof is 25 years old.
Yeah, an inspector's going to say that.
And their inspector's going to say that. They're going to say it needs to be replaced. So now you're negotiating the cost of an entire roof.
So what's a new roof?
So just do it now.
What would a new roof cost you right now
if you need it?
I don't know. I haven't got anybody out to do estimates, but not sure what that would cost. I guess that's the big, is it?
Get the estimates, figure out the math.
Yeah, get the estimate, do the math, and then do the division. The number of years you're going to stay there divided by what the cost is going to be and what a payback would be. If you can go ahead and say appreciation is just conservatively is 5% a year. That's conservative. All right. If you go 5% a year on what your value of your house is now, and you're going to stay there 5 years, divided by the cost of what you're going to pay for the new roof. That's really the formula. And I could walk you through that if you do it. You can always call me off the air and we could take a look at it. But That's what it is. It depends on what your goals and objectives are as to what you want to spend now versus what you're going to give up in the future.
And peace of mind that for the next 5 years, you have nothing to hopefully worry about if you decide to get a new roof.
I like the idea of a new roof.
Protecting your own investment before you leave.
I understand that, but
Yeah.
you know, if a new roof is going to cost them 35, 40
Oh,
grand.
yeah, correct.
They don't cost that much.
Mike, if it's going to cost
depends
Mike
where.
35, 40,000 for a new roof, all right, and he's only going to stay there 5 years, I might roll the dice. But that's just me. I might roll the dice and just do the repair and see what happens.
Antonio, nothing better than showing up to a house that you want to list and you drive up and you look and go, wow, they've got a brand new roof. That sort of gives you the first indication that this house might have been really taken care of in a great way. You know, definitely well-maintained house is going to sell more. And I actually have a buyer that's going to close on a house at the end of November. It's got a new roof. It's got this. It's got some newer features. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this question, guys. Here it is. Here's the math, all right?
All right.
I'm going to refinance my house, but I'm only going to be there 5 years. Do I pay points?
No,
It depends.
usually
Well,
not.
Wait.
Hey, I
You got to
disagree.
do the math.
You got to do the math.
You got to do the
because
math. That's
sometimes
the
paying the
whole point.
points, you might recoup that in 8 months, 12 months. Why wouldn't you if you're going to be there 5
You
years?
might, but that's the math that
Math.
Mike has to do.
We do the math.
nerd.
We'll do the math for you.
I'll do the
it
math.
for you.
I love it. The answer is you got to do the math.
All right, when we come back, Antonio Wells, he's here from Anthony John's office, Luxury Real Estate. Lisa
Happy to be
Lawson,
here.
she's going to share tons more with us here. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back. All righty, we're in our last piece here on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. I'd like to take your calls, 248-539-9797. The math doesn't lie. Again, took a great call already earlier. And again, if you're thinking about selling your house, find out where you want to put that money into. So when you sell it, of course, you maximize the profit, and you're going to take that money usually and buy another house. Lots of great things going on across Southeast Michigan. We've got the Lions in full swing, of course, and they'll be playing they're back at home tomorrow against Minnesota, 1:00 start. Fall back tonight, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Whether
Don't
you,
forget
if you
people.
go to bed at
Extra hour sleep.
some of the your phone again it resets itself, I think, automatically, but you get an extra hour of sleep. All right, Whippy Doodle. Good stuff, though.
Whippy Doodle? I'm sorry, I had to say something.
They all these statistics about you're going to feel so much better and everything. It's 1 hour, folks. If I fall asleep on the couch, I don't know if I wake up at 8 or 9 o'clock. I don't know. At least maybe 1 hour makes a difference. We see the phone lines lighting up and like to hear from you again. 248-539-9797.
Whippy Doodle.
Yeah.
Okay. Pat Caputo, he'll join us and be talking baseball, sports, everything going on. Pistons later tonight here on 97.1 The Ticket. They're playing that game in Mexico City, Harry. Pretty cool. Yes. Pistons tonight against Dallas. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket to follow Detroit and a full lineup of sports and all that stuff going on. Michigan's at home, Harry. I think Michigan's at home today. And Michigan State, I don't know where they're at, Harry. But
they don't know where they're at.
No one knows where they're at. Good luck to all the teams here playing. And a lot of high school football last night. Congratulations to all the teams out there that won. Continue on here. Michigan, what a great state. We're a sports town. We're a sports state, really. And, of course, if you follow 97.1 The Ticket, high school football, totally in the swing of things here. And for the playoffs started last week. Congratulations to all the team that won. All right, I got it all out of the way here, at least. We're talking buying and selling and some other things that come up. Yes. And we've got some callers. Let's go. Paul, we got one. Nope. They're all bouncing around. And, Tony, let's go to what we got going on here. You said you switched offices recently.
Yes.
And one of the things you're doing with you're a lot of calls, a lot of leads are coming in.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And they click buttons. So you sort of get a good barometer, good feel of like someone who's calling and they really are serious and there's someone here that you can work with versus just people that are, sometimes the questions and the calls are bizarre.
Yeah. You got the looky-loos and then you got the people that are serious about buying it. And with 4 years into the business, I can kind of tell who's who at this point.
Hey, you know what? We'll roll out to a caller now. Chris calling in from Clarkston. Hey, Chris, good morning. Welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I got a question about that occupancy you were talking about. So I'm actually in the middle of trying to make an offer on a home. They want 60 days because they have to close and then find a new place. My question is, in my offer, is it more common nowadays to not charge any, I'll call it rent, short-term rent, or just give them 30 days free or 60 days free? What's more prevalent today, especially in Metro Detroit?
When I'm guiding my clients, I say write it up for 45 days free if they're requiring 60, and then you start charging after that 45 days.
So 130. So maybe 45. It's a negotiable on each transaction.
It's always negotiable, but that kind of motivates them to keep moving.
Yeah,
exactly. This way you're being nice, right? You're giving them some free stuff, but at 45 days, people don't want to be paying. You know what I mean? So that keeps things motivated. Right. I think that's a good idea. But everything's negotiable, right? You can pay from day 1 to day 60 if that's the case. But I don't think that right now that's as common.
It depends on what offers are on the table as well.
Chris,
say that's not common these days?
No, it is common.
It is common.
I think 30 days free is very common.
30 days free is 45, very, very common.
That's kind of the norm right now here in this market.
Got it. Okay.
Chris, just curious.
Right, I appreciate it.
Chris, I'm curious if you could answer the question. The house you're looking at, what's the price range?
6, a little over 6.
Oh, these are nice houses. And then trying to figure out that motivation of the seller. Are they building a new $1 million house up in Washington Township or something? What's going on there?
Honestly, I think they've just got a little turmoil and they need to get out of it.
Okay, that might work in your advantage. But at the end of the day, I like what you said, Antonio. Maybe 45 days for free, and now that keeps the motivation, and you're giving something back to them. So maybe hit them with the 45 days first and go from there.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. All right, I appreciate it.
Good luck. Thanks for the call. Appreciate that. Let's continue the calls here. We got a little roll, 248-539-9797. Bill from Lake Orion. What's going on, Bill?
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good. What's happening? Bill.
Well, here's the deal. I put my house for sale. Sold over the first weekend. We came to a purchase agreement. three conditions. We needed to pass the inspection. Well, we had the inspection. We agreed to some, radon stuff. Then we had to pass the appraisal. We passed the appraisal. Everything was complete. He's got his mortgage. The day the appraisal went through and what passed at the price we needed to be at, the guy calls and says, "I'm backing out because I have a health issue." And we're looking as, no, we have a contract. It's there. Every aspect of the contract was met, and now he wants to offer a small amount to get out, and we want to hold we're holding him for the earnest money.
Oh yeah, how much is that? How much is that EMD?
$20,000.
That's a huge EMD.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, very interesting.
What you're saying is you've lived up to your end of the bargain. You've passed everything along the way. You checked all the boxes, and now a situation has come up. What's fair? I mean, you want to keep the whole EMD. You've got to work it out. And if you're asking me, are you entitled to keep the entire EMD? The answer is probably yes, because you checked all the boxes. Now, you can probably come to a reasonable arrangement if you want to go ahead and maybe give him X amount back. But if you're asking, on the surface, everything, all the facts you've told me in the last 10 seconds, I can tell you, it looks like you would be entitled to keep the EMD. But if there's special circumstances...
We don't have the contract in front of us, because sometimes there's non-negotiable terms. But, without
it sounds like you met all the conditions.
It sounds like you met your conditions, and that, yes, you would be entitled to it back.
I'll take the buyer's side.
And you don't have to, goodwill. Obviously, if you want to put good juju in the world and give him half back, that's all on you. But it sounds like you're entitled.
Bill, I get a little afraid here. I'm getting the old performing on the transaction, the law. We're not lawyers by any means, and you could take that up with your lawyer. But I like what Harry went with. You might be entitled to it, but you can get your house held up, and you're trying to sell your house and move on to whatever your plans were. And they don't go ahead and release that EMD. There's a lawsuit started. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, your house isn't sold, and we're 3 or 4 months down the road. I would make them an offer to keep $10,000. They walked away. A typical EMD is usually 3%. Yes. So even though $20,000 sounds a lot to me, but 3% typically when you make an offer shows that, wait a minute, you're a real buyer.
Yeah, they were serious.
They were serious. They gave $20,000 up front. Something probably did happen. Yeah. I say negotiate it down to 10. Specific performance. Forget about all that. Take your 10 grand and run and get your house on the market to somebody who can.
Are you due some money because you took the house off the market and you met all the conditions? Probably. So I would tell you that maybe work out the best situation for both sides and move on and sell your house.
Yeah, get that house sold. And I'm sure it's a nice house also. Hey, Anna, you're calling in. The calls keep rolling in. Hey, Anna, good morning. Thanks for calling. You're calling in from
good morning.
Good old Berkeley. You got a question about selling. Go ahead.
Yeah, I bought my house in 2021, and my interest rate is super low. And I was just wondering if I could get some advice if I sell my house here in the next 5 years or so, what I could do now to kind of get my house ready. It's a pretty old house built in the 1940s, but it's got good bones. And I know you guys were talking about the roofs and some areas that just keep an eye out for. Do you have any recommendations between now and like the next 5 years of what I can do to get my house ready to sell?
I think Antonio probably can start that.
Right, Antonio, in your backyard. There.
The first thing I would do is get the house pre-inspected to see where you sit. I heard that you said it's an older house, so just see the condition of like the roof and the furnace and AC, especially around this time of the year.
Foundation.
And then once you get past that, you can, whatever budget that you're working with, you can make either renovations or you can upgrade the mechanicals of the house.
To get ready for advice. Take a look at the big ticket items first, okay?
Yeah.
Because those are the things that people are going to look at most when you go to sell a house. So obviously, like Antonio said, the roof, the furnace, the AC. Take a look
windows.
at the windows, if there's siding, whatever, gutters, downspouts, things of that nature. And always take a look at the foundation. If there's anything grayed away from the foundation, if you have a full basement, make sure cracks, anything, moisture, those kind of things. But the big ticket items, and then work backwards is what I would do.
Yeah, I would worry less about the renovation and do the big ticket things first, depending on the budget. You know what I mean? Because I think you'd get more bang out of a new roof, than you would a repainted kitchen, really, because people will be like, I don't want to have to do a new roof if you just had to do it.
Right.
Kitchens are nice, but I would definitely put the money in the mechanicals
The big
first.
ticket items. Yeah.
We're going rolling down that street definitely all morning long here to basically say,
Thanks for the call.
Put the money back into the
Yeah.
house. Again, we've talked about it, Antonio. If you have a $300,000 house, try to budget 1% of your savings of the value of your home that you can put into the heavy duty items. That means hot water heaters, the furnaces, the roofs. Heavy duty concrete work, plumbing, really keeping your house up to snuff, and always those sewer lines. Antonio, hey, you're in Berkeley. We'll hook you up with that lady and all before you know it. You'll be giving her some professional
Bears, baby.
advice.
Go Berkeley. Go Bears. Come on now.
That was the fastest hour in real estate.
Great.
No, I could do another hour. Antonio Wells, you'll join us again.
Yes, I will.
Fantastic. Antonio Wells from Anthony John's office out in Troy. Definitely always get the professionals involved. If you're buying or selling your house, give us a call. Capital Mortgage Funding. That's where you'll find us all week long at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. I see Pat Caputo. He's ready to talk sports. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll see you next Saturday.